I'm Jeff Seckendorf, and I am a master's athlete. I race a bike on the track.
I think Jeff's freaking crazy.
I think anyone who wants to do this is a little bit crazy, and I think Jeff has a little of that in him.
I started thinking about what cool events are on the track that are longer, and then the hour record kind of reared its interesting head.
I'm Benjamin Sharp, cycling coach and power education specialist at Stages Cycling.
I'm Tracy Jacobs. I was Jeff's coach for his first hour attempt.
So doing the hour record is partly about the hour record, but really it's about the process of training for it, and that's what's been the most interesting.
Jeff approached me several months ago, had the notion of putting together a program or actually more like a project to do an hour record in about 3 years.
So the idea of doing an hour record just really appeals to me. There's so much about this event. You know, it's iconic in cycling. It's been going on since the 1800s. In some ways, it's the purest cycling event there is. You're on a track, one gear, no brakes, just you and an hour. And how far can you make that bike go in an hour?
The fact that Jeff had already done an hour record in San Diego and a record at Borrego Springs, I don't know if that necessarily had an impact outside of maybe revealing that it was something that he could actually do. I mean, some people have this pie in the sky goals and don't necessarily know what it takes to achieve those goals. And maybe the level of commitment, not specifically in the training, but also on the day. Both of these events that he did are very mentally taxing, physically taxing. And, you know, when he approaches me asking me about an hour record attempt, he knows what it entails. He knows what's included in that. And that makes it a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily say easier, but more realistic.
Currently, I'm with this amazing coach named Ben Sharp. But when this idea came up, I was being coached by Tracy Jacobs.
When Jeff and I started working together, he really had this long-range goal of doing the hour record.
And I told her that I wanted to do this hour record at age 70. Her first reaction was,
Why wait? Like, let's just do it now.
and I'm like, well...
Let's do it like you mean it. Let's train for this. Almost like a dress rehearsal, but going for it.
That just started so many moving parts. It takes a village to do this. So we got everybody together, and I started training for, to do an hour attempt with 3 months of prep. Kind of crazy.
We've been working together for 4 months, and Jeff's ticking off all the boxes as far as motivation and commitment. He's doing a wonderful balancing act between his professional life and his personal life and his cycling life. They obviously overlap in a lot of ways, but as far as compliance with the training and being able to hit the training when I ask it of him, he's been great.
The workout is real, and whatever the workout says, do it. The no more bullshit factor.
I think that Jeff will stay motivated even if the feasibility experiment or project reveals that it's a little bit out of reach. And I think that's because Jeff understands that this is about a bigger driver or a bigger purpose than just trying to go as fast as he can in 60 minutes.
What Ben said, which was so interesting, he says, lots of people try to do records and don't succeed. And it wasn't, I don't think he said that to make me feel better or worse about what I'm doing, but that really rang a chord with me, because I really at that moment was able to separate out the goal from the process.
And I'm confident that Jeff would agree that regardless of the outcome of the hour attempt, that the process of going through the training and the preparation will make him a different person on the other end, as well as know a lot more about himself at the end.
When I did the attempt in San Diego, everything went great on that attempt. The village came out to help, and the track was welcoming, and we had official timers, and it was an official record, and everything was really well put together. I had people cheering, friends and family came out. The whole thing was really interesting. The thing I didn't do right was I didn't go hard enough. I was so concerned about getting to the end of an hour that I just didn't go hard enough because I was unwilling to fail.
That's part of the demon that you have to wrestle with. It's like, are you going to give to the bottom or are you going to give to the top?
I was unwilling to get to 45 minutes and have to stop. There were too many people watching. There was too much pressure on me from myself, from external forces, and it caused me to hold back, and it caused me to get a result that was unsatisfying.
Right as he was getting off the track, he rolled up to me and said, I had more. I could have given more. And, you know, that just kind of rolls off my shoulders because, yeah, we all say that, right? But, you know, that also is the learning, is that he knows that now when he feels that pressure in his body and he feels that stress, he knows that, oh, you know what, I can still give. Like, that's where the mind and the body need to be separated.
That was the thing I learned more than anything about how to do the hour attempt was you can't hold anything back. You've got to leave it all out there.
I think the hour record is very much a mental exercise. I mean, obviously there's a massive physical component. You can't think your way to an hour record, but you also can't muscle your way to an hour record. You have to be willing to suffer, not just in the hour attempt itself, but in, you know, many training sessions preceding that. And the mental preparation that comes from those training sessions is integral to success in the hour record.
So the hour record and purpose are really interesting things. I mean, doing an hour attempt it's such a hard event on the bike. And, you know, sometimes you look at like, why climb a mountain? And the answer is because it's there. Well, why do an hour record attempt? And some people can look at this and say, well, because it's there. But And I started that way. It was like very self-centric when I started this thing. I'm going to train, I'm going to get faster, get stronger, get better, and I'm going to tick off this record. And then I realized it doesn't really matter. It does matter, but it doesn't matter. It's the process of getting to that point that is so important. And so now I am 100% focused on the process. I get up in the morning. This gives me purpose. I train, I work hard, I don't miss workouts, and if I get to this goal, that'll be awesome. And if I don't get to the goal, or I come close, or I'm not successful at beating it, that doesn't take anything away from this 5-year period of process during which I'm training, getting stronger, getting fitter, getting smarter, getting tougher mentally. And so the goal's great, but the process is everything. If we figure out there is no way with your physiology and your strength and your training program and your budget that you're ever going to get anywhere near this goal, doesn't change anything. I'll just keep doing it. And if I can't set a record at 70, I'll set it at 75. And if I can't set it at 75, I'll set it at 80. If I can't set it at 80, I'll set it at 85. I believe there's a 105-year-old hour record. So maybe I can chase that one. But none of it changes the process. And none of it changes the fact that I've accepted this process as part of my purpose in life. It's to get up, be strong on the bike, be committed to the training, be motivated by the process, and enjoy it every single day, even though it's hard.
What's going to happen? Here we go in the middle lap. Jeff Seckendorf leading the field. Mike Morrison on his heel, fighting. Andy, here comes the crowd right now. Andy, who's